Yata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasangati Bodhisvatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasangati Bodhisvatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasangati Bodhisvatyata. Okay, page 4. I go for refuge until enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations, the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations, the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations, the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sangye Joda Zoge Jolam La Janjo Kebe Sonamye Dola Benjir Sangye Dubalajo Sangye Joda Zoge Jolam La Janjo Baldo Dani Gyatsoje Dage Jinso Kebe Sonamye Dola Benjir Sangye Dubalajo Sangye Joda Zoge Jolam La Janjo Baldo Dani Gyatsoje Dage Jinso Kebe Sonamye Dola Benjir Sangye Dubalajo. Okay. Yesterday we were continuing with the method of equalizing and exchanges of others. Of the 9 steps, we were doing step. Which step was that? The 5. Step 5. Okay, the step 5, we were giving you happiness, the practice of giving you happiness with emphasis on loving kindness. So there, giving, we involved in giving the giving in the form of the 4 generosities. Generosity of what? Generosity of material resources. Then what? Generosity of love and affection. Generosity of protection. Generosity of dharma. But again, generosity of dharma, we have the 4. What are they? Generosity of renunciation, teaching on dharma of renunciation. Then the generosity of the dharma of bodhicitta. Then generosity of dharma of wisdom of emptiness. Then the generosity of the dharma of non-dual wisdom of bliss and emptiness. Very good. Okay. So first let me keep going. Then when we get a little time, tomorrow or day after, then we'll do practice on this. If not, it doesn't matter. The point is that once you know how to do this practice, then in your own place, you can do it. Okay, what is next? Step number 6. What is step number 6? Actual exchange of 7 others. What is the step number 7? Special recollection of kindness of others. What is step number 8? Altruism. What is step number 9? Easiest one. Okay, so now the step number 6. Actual exchange of 7 others. Actual exchange of self others. Step number 6. Step number 6, there's nothing really special there. So what we do is that out of step 1 through to step 5, from step 1 through to step 5, we come to get a very clear understanding that cherishing oneself is the door to all miseries. Cherishing others is the door to all happiness. This is what we have concluded. And what we want is, we want happiness. What we don't want is, we don't want miseries. If you don't want miseries, give up self-cherishing. If you want happiness, embrace other cherishing. So this is the whole idea. So this is what Bodhisattva Shantideva, he beautifully, this is what we all must keep in mind. Bodhisattva Shantideva concluded all these step 1 through to step 5 in just one stanza. He says, the miseries the world contains are derived through cherishing oneself, and the happiness, all happiness the world contains, are derived through wishing happiness for others. So this is what Bodhisattva Shantideva concluded. This is what we need to really gain conviction in. So in all, whatever is the case, for example, say when you come across situations of problems, people creating problem on you, your neighbor creating problem on you, your family members creating problem on you, and then the external factors, somehow they are not conducive for you, and we easily go to blame others, right? So one thing that we need to keep in mind is, if possible, on a daily basis, just remember this stanza. Whatever happiness the world contains are derived through wishing happiness for others. Whatever miseries the world contains are derived through wishing happiness for oneself. And then he further added, what more is needed to be said? Look at the Buddhas who have been cherishing others all the time, and look at the plight of the sentient beings who have been cherishing oneself all the time. And this is how he concluded, saying the cherishing others gives rise to happiness. Cherishing oneself gives rise to miseries. And if we don't understand it well, it's easy. Just look at the sentient beings and the Buddhas. Why some become Buddhas? Why some remain as sentient beings? Sentient beings, they remain sentient beings because of the self-centered attitude. And who's happy? Buddhas are happier, or sentient beings are happier? Buddhas are happier. Because of which, if you really want to become one like a Buddha, of course everybody wants to become like a Buddha. But how they become Buddha is because of our cherished mind. Our cherished mind takes you to the ultimate happiness. And self-centered attitude, we have been into this self-centered attitude since time immemorial till now. What good do we have achieved so far? Nothing. So self-centered attitude gives nothing good to us. This is what we should be mindful of. In fact, this is so helpful for me personally. It's so helpful at times, or because of this situation, I'm going through this problem. Because of that situation, situations are there, no doubt. Situations are there. But the problem meaning, say for example, is somebody slaps me like this, right? Like this. Okay, maybe there's a pain. But the mental agitation happens or not, this is not the slap does not decide. Mental agitation, if the slap is coming from my mother, like this, I'll take it as, wow, it's a very affectionate gesture. If it's coming from my neighbor who has nothing to do with me, like this, how dare you touch me, right? So when it's coming from my mother, I feel so, wow, it's my mother's love and affection, right? Okay, so this is how the same agitation, irritation, unhappiness, somehow they're connected with the, don't forget it, sound of a clam. External factors are there. Don't say that external factors are not, it's just internal. Don't say this. External factors are there. We have to acknowledge the reality. Only if you acknowledge the reality, then we can, from there you can climb, that they can happen. If you don't acknowledge the reality, you just live in the illusion. Right? Oh, everything's nice. One time, I know somebody who was, at one point, working very closely with me. and then just having the illusion, oh, everyone is nice, there's no one who's not nice, there's no one who's bad, everyone is nice. Then when actually somebody hits you hard, then no, I thought the whole world is so nice. I learned about Tonglen, everyone's nice, I'm the one, everyone's nice. Then suddenly your belief is shattered. So whereas if you acknowledge, unnice is unnice, nasty is nasty, good is good, bad is bad, if you acknowledge that, then on that basis, see how you can help others, see how you can transform others. Okay, so with this, it is very important to reflect on this point, that all the miseries the world contains are derived through my own self-cherishing mind. All happiness, even little happiness that I get, is because of other cherishing mind. This is what we have to gain conviction in. One. And then compare the two things, the Buddhas and the sentient beings. It's not that the Buddhas are somebody who was born as special. No, they were somebody who were as ordinary as what we are today, once. Through effort, by eradicating the self-centered attitude, embracing other cherishing mind, now they become a Buddha. Whereas we, the sentient beings, we have been always embracing self-cherishing mind and always pushing aside other cherishing mind, because of which we remain the sentient being. And sickness, aging, death, just perpetuating suffering. The suffering endlessly befalls on us. Okay, so with this awareness, now step 6, actual exchange of self-others. So what we should be doing is that in your meditation, you should make a very strong commitment that henceforth, since I want happiness, I don't want suffering, two agendas of your life. Be kind to yourself, meaning give all the happiness that you want and get rid of all the suffering which you don't want. Get rid of all the fears that you don't want. How? Be wisely kind to yourself, knowing that other cherished mind is the one which attracts all the happiness, and self-centered attitude is the one attracts all the fears. So therefore I will discard self-centered attitude and I will embrace the other cherished mind. This is the commitment we strongly make. You very strongly make, right? And then if you keep making these commitments like this, then what happens is that over time, you reach to a level whereby any, say tragedy happens to you. The anger will not go, the blame or the anger will not go towards others. Instead, anger will go towards the internal, towards self-cherishing mind, not towards the self. It should not go towards the self. If it goes towards the self, again it's a disaster. Then you say, okay, I'm a hopeless person, I'm good at nothing, right? This is the greatest failure. Don't forget it. Even if you don't have any money, nobody can fail you. Even if you don't have any education, nobody can fail you. You are still a very independent person. Even if you have the greatest wealth, the greatest education, but if you say that I'm a hopeless person, this is the greatest failure. So therefore, never ever be unkind to yourself. Always be kind to yourself. And be wisely kind to yourself. If you're going through a little bit of problem, somehow tackle the causes. Ye dharma hetu prabhava. These miseries, they arise from the causes. Identify the causes and eradicate the causes. This is so important. So with that in mind, step number 6, just make a very strong commitment that henceforth, to the best I can, I will get rid of the self-centered attitude. It does nothing good to me. It only brings harm to me. I will cherish others. I will embrace the cherishing others, because this is one which brings all the happiness. So I should be wisely kind to myself. How? By getting rid of the self-centered attitude and by embracing the other cherishing mind. Make a very strong commitment. Okay, this is step number 6. What is step number 7? Special recollection of the kindness of others. Okay, so up to this point is something which say, if I share this with many people, most of the people will understand, yes, that's sensible. The moment you say that, then from this step number, step number 7, special recollection of the kindness of others. Special recollection, special. Why special? Because this is something which the ordinary people cannot digest, which the ordinary people cannot understand, cannot accept. You're getting it? Okay. So the point is that here bodhicitta. What is a bodhicitta? How do you understand it? How do you define it? What is the meaning of bodhicitta? Anyone?
To become a Buddha in order to help people to attain Buddhahood.
Okay, good. So this is good. Okay, let's oath. There is okay. Don't just say to become Buddha. Say, I will become Buddha. Right? This is commitment. I will become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. All. Right? Not that may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings except for this person. Right? Not like this. Okay, how many of you, sometimes it comes like this, may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings except for this person, except for my neighbor, except for my mother, my very protective mother. Okay, so this is not allowed. The point is that, some people say that, what are those, the terrorists, right? The terrorists, except for these, no. They don't deserve compassion. The terrorists, they don't deserve compassion, right? Except for them. This is not allowed. The moment you say except for that person or this group, so forth, this is never a bodhicitta. You getting it? So therefore, to really reach to the level of bodhicitta, without bodhicitta, Buddhahood is not possible. Right? Okay. Now, if you really want Buddhahood, what should be doing? We should have the bodhicitta. If you really want to have the bodhicitta, we should have the feeling of love and affection towards all sentient beings, whether near and dear ones, neutral beings, or enemies. Everyone, you should feel love and affection must spread to everyone. This is what many of the ordinary people, they cannot understand it. They could not understand it. Right? Okay. Because of this teaching is known as the special recollection of kindness for others. And Bodhisattva Deva, in his book, in his text, he described this teaching as a confidential teaching, secret teaching. Why confidential? Secret teaching? Because this is a teaching which many of the people cannot digest, and many of the people will be really unhappy about. Yet, it is a very profound teaching. Right? Okay. So now, this teaching, the special recollection of the kindness of others. Okay. So say, from how we behave, which of the 3 categories? When we speak about love and affection towards all beings can be categorized. How can you possibly think of the cultivating love and affection towards, everyone? So, okay, people here, like 30 people, that's fine. I can identify the 30. Then, the moment you go out, how many insects are there? Right? So many, trillion of insects are there. How can I identify each of the insects? So how can you have love and affection towards all beings? In the first place, you can't even identify all the beings. How can you then have love and affection towards all beings? This is the question. So for that matter, right, say, although we may not be able to identify each and every sentient being and then cultivate love and affection towards each one of them, but still there's a way manner by which we can do that. How? All beings that exist in this universe can be grouped into 3 categories. those who identify as loving and caring, near and dear ones. Those who are neutral beings, who don't really harm you, who don't really benefit you. And those who actually harm you. Right? Okay, three groups. Those who actually benefit you. Number two, those who do not benefit you, those who do not harm you, and those who harm you. Can you think of any person who doesn't fall under these three categories? Can you think of any person who doesn't fall under this category, these three categories? Anyone? Yes, no. No. Which means every sentient being should necessarily be falling under one of three categories. Yes? Good. Let's say, now those who really love you, those who really dislike you, those who don't love you, don't dislike you. Okay, those who love you, tell me, of the three categories, the people at large, they feel close to, they feel loving and affectionate towards which of the three categories? The first one, yes. So therefore this we don't really have to practice separately, it's very easy. Now second one, neutral, you love and affection is flowing. Difficult people, impossible, no way. Right? Okay, so now this practice, the special recollection of kindness of others. So this is to particularly reflect on the benefits, say the kindness of the neutral beings and the enemies. If you can do that, if you're successful in this, then your mind will flow towards everyone. You feel so close to everyone. You agree with me? Good. Okay. Say first neutral beings. Okay, by the way, how many of you feel close, affectionate towards the neutral beings? To neutral beings? Sometimes. What about the difficult people? Huh? No way! He must be crazy, right? No way. Okay. So let's say the point is. Okay, tell me. Why don't? Okay, is it your experience? Or you're just mentally fabricating that you don't really feel close to your enemies? Is it your experience? Hey, how many of you have this experience that I don't feel affectionate towards somebody who really harms me, somebody who's difficult? Raise your hands. Oh, all of us, right? Tell me, why your mind does not flow towards that person? Tell me very quickly. That's easy.
Because of anger.
Because of anger. Why anger? Anyone else? I don't see Nico. Yes, both.
Because they don't love us.
Yeah. They don't love us. How do you know that they don't love us? Anybody? How do you know that the enemies, they don't love us? They harm us. They harm us means what you want is you want harm or you want love? You want love, but they don't give you love, they instead harm you, which you don't want. You're getting it? Okay, look, this is very important. So, you don't love, your mind does not flow. Okay, say imagine. Okay, some of you love your children so much. Some of you love your mother so much. Some of you love your brother so much. Some of you love your sister so much. Some of you love your, say, the husband and wife so much. Right? So much, genuinely. Okay. So now, say, you do not meet your mother or your child for the last 2 years. Suddenly you meet, what's the reaction? Anyone? No? You cannot imagine? What's the reaction? Extremely happy, extremely happy. Okay. You can watch those clips. American soldiers going for war, like whole 1 year, 2 years, and then coming home, surprise visit to the family. What's the reaction of their children? Right? Reaction is intense love and affection. The small children, they just cry out of joy. You're getting it? Okay, so imagine you're the child and your father from the war, then he may die, all these years, and then 1 year, and after suddenly you meet him, then what is your reaction? Love and affection flows. Is it that, okay, Father, stay there, I'll meditate on love and affection. Right? Okay, I love you, then my mind flows. Or, no, you don't know meditation, automatic. What is that? Tell me. What's your reaction? Automatic, or you have to meditate on it? Automatic. Why does your mind automatically float towards your father, towards your mother, towards your father, towards your child? Why? Huh? Why? Because you know that this person is the one who gave me so much of love, affection, benefit. When I feel sorrow, he or she comes to console me. When I'm hungry, he or she comes to give me food. When I'm cold, he or she comes to give me clothing. Right? So this has been ongoing for so long that the moment you see this person, automatically your mind flows. This is known as unconditional love. You're getting it? Unconditional love. Okay, so there's a question asked by somebody whether it's unconditional or not. Conditional, because he gave me affection, so therefore it's conditional. On the condition that he gives me love and affection, so therefore I love you. Right? This question will come separate. Who will ask this question later on? Not now. Who will ask this question? Who likes to remind me of this question? No one. Nobody wants to. Huh? Who likes to ask this question?
What is the question?
Who is that person who asked this question in the group discussion? Whether or not the mother's love towards the child is conditional or unconditional? Alex, you should have asked me. Okay. Okay. Right? Okay. So good. Now look. This is how the mind flows. Why? Don't forget it. Finally, this step is so important. This step, if you're successful, your Bodhicitta is guaranteed. Right? Bodhicitta is guaranteed. If this step is successful, right? You find more the difficult but the person, more the harm the person creates on you, more you love the person. This is what we're going to learn from this step, which is so precious. You're getting it? The point is, how does the love and affection, what is the mechanism of the love and affection? This question, what's the mechanism? How does the love and affection grow? This is what we should not forget. Love and affection grows through you feeling the benefit that you receive from the other side. The more the benefit that you receive from the other side, more your mind flows toward that person. You're getting it? More you see that the person benefits unconditionally. Unconditionally you receive the benefit. Unconditionally your mind flows. You getting it? This is the mechanism. For example, saying Albert Einstein's all these wonderful, what do you call it, the ideas, theories. If you know E equals mc squared, you understand everything. You getting it? Likewise, if you understand this, how the love and affection works, what is the mechanism of the love and affection? Okay, tell me, anyone, very quick, before we proceed further, how does the love and affection grow? How does it grow? What is the mechanism of the love and affection growing? Anyone, very quick. If you understand this, then we can proceed further. Anyone, very quickly. Anyone? Just raise your hand. Anyone? Yes, Alex.
The more benefit you get from other person, the more it grows.
Exactly. The more you, it's not that the more you get the benefit. Okay, there are two things. The more you get the benefit, the more you know you get the benefit. There are two things, right? Sometimes you get so much of benefit, but you don't know that you're getting benefit from that person. In which case, your mind will not flow. Your mind will not flow. Whereas if you know that you get the maximum benefit, the mind flows. You know. This is the point. You're getting it. You know that the you get the maximum benefit, then your mind flows. Your mind flows. This is known as feeling of closeness. English word. Oh, the English word, the feeling closeness is beautiful. In Tibetan, semnyewa. Semnyewa means is close feeling. So your mind becomes close to the object, close to the other person, feeling closeness. In French, is there a similar word? Proximity. Yes, proximity. Right? Closeness. Okay. So your mind automatically becomes close to the other person. This is the mechanism. So with this, what we will learn is that how the neutral people have been so kind to you, and how the enemies have been even more kind to you. This is what we're going to learn. You getting it? If you get through this practice, then your life is so easy. Your life is so easy. You will never feel irritated inside. You getting it? Or sometimes maybe a little bit, because you have not yet gained expertise on this practice, right? So to know this, and then you actually practice it, then the progress is going to be so fast, right? Okay. So first, let's say the neutral people. The neutral people. Okay. What was the lunch? Dal. Just dal.
Rice.
Dal and rice.
Tomatoes.
Okay. Just say one plate of the lunch you enjoyed. Okay. How many of you went to cook the food? Lunch and dal, rice and dal. How do you want to cook it? Nobody. And how many of you went to actually plant the rice and dal in the field? Nobody. Right? We got it on the plate. Okay, just one plate of food. Think of that. One plate of food. Think of that. So there you see that this food cooks here. They cooked. And cooks, to cook the food, the ingredients should be material ready. Ingredients, they did not go from the kitchen here. Right? They brought from the shops. And the shops, it did not grow there in the shops, they brought from the factories. Did not grow in the factories, they grow from the fields. Right? From the fields went to the factory, to the shop, to the kitchen, and then this is how we got. And who brought from the field to the factory, to the shop? Who brought all these things? In the vehicles, in the trucks. And the trucks are made of metals. Metals are extracted from the iron, from the iron ore, from the mining, iron mining, right? And then say the miners. How many miners were involved? So many miners involved, and miners, right? Miners have their own children, the family. Where were these children? In most likelihood, the miners' children, they were just playing on the ground, on the dust. They don't have the babysitters, right? If they are that rich to have babysitters, they will not be risking their life in the mines. So many miners, they die while mining, right? And then how many people? For example, say the trucks they are made, and trucks they drive on the road. And roads are made by road builders. Again, how many millions of hands were involved there? And all these people, they have to eat something. They have to survive. Where do they get their food? From all these millions of farmers. So things like this, we see that just one plate of food is a symbol of the kindness of innumerable beings, millions and billions of beings. Tell me, where are all these beings? Do you know these beings? Do you know that they are do you know that They are being so kind to you. Hey, Dinah, hey, old, right? Like this, they come to you like this? No. Do you know them? You don't know them. Are they being unkind to you? No. These are known as the neutral people. These are known as the neutral people. It's all because of this. It's all because of these neutral people that we are getting this food, that we are getting this house. You're getting it? And the cars or the trains by which we came, it's all because of these innumerable millions of neutral people that we got these things. You're getting it? Okay. What is this? Pen. Right? Okay. This pen. Do you think that this pen existed 1,000 years ago? 2,000 years ago? No. 2,000 years ago, if something of this kind of pen existed, even the kings, they did not have this pen. Can you imagine it? Even the kings, they have to use the feather. Even the kings, they have to use feather. And which is more effective, this pen or the feather is more effective? No clue. Of course, this pen is much more effective. If the kings have this, they will not use this. They will give in the treasure store, treasure house. This pen, right? And if you are to make this pen for yourself, the tip is metal. If you have to really make it by yourself, to the metal, you have to go to the iron mining, right? You cannot do that. And then you will need the machine to make this tip. Machine will cost you some millions of dollars, some millions of euros. This machine. Just for this pen, it will cost you like billions of euros. Can you imagine that? But, hey, are you using pen? Anybody? Yes. The Patrick, tell me, what's the cost of your pen? €1. For €1 you are getting this pen. How come that you are enjoying this pen? €1. If you have to buy it, if you have to make it by yourself, it will cost you billions of dollars. Can you imagine this? If you have to buy it yourself, make it yourself, it will cost you billions of dollars. But you're getting for €1. Tell me, how come that you are getting it such a cheap? Hey, no idea. Huh? Because of the quantity. Because of the quantity. Quantity meaning mass production. Right? Because of the mass production. Because of the mass production, then it becomes very cheap. Right? What do you mean by mass production? Means the same pen is produced millions. Right? Okay. Say, if nobody wants a pen, right? If only Patrick wants this pen, if nobody else wants a pen, do you think that the factory will still make millions of this pen? They will not make it. So then, if Patrick wants a pen, you have to invest $1 billion on this. But we are getting this very cheap. How come that we are getting this very cheap? Because of the mass production. If the mass production is not possible, we cannot enjoy it. We cannot have the privilege of using this pen. You understand it? Okay. How come that mass production is happening? Because there's so much demand of this pen. Yes? Who demands this pen? All the innumerable people, millions of people, they demand the same pen. Who are these millions of people? Do you know these people? You don't know them. Are they harmful to you? No, they are not enemies. They are not your friends. They are neutral people. Because of these neutral people that we are enjoying this pen very cheap. Okay, this pen. This pen you are not enjoying. I'm enjoying it. Okay, let's keep that aside. The microphone, right? We are all enjoying this. And how much this is? Maybe like €100. Maybe like €100. But if you do really make this 1,000 years ago, this thing was totally non-existent. The kings, they have the whole wealth of the kingdom. but they did not have the privilege of using the heating system. They did not have the heating system. Okay, where is this? The chimney? What do you call it? Huh? Chimney? Yeah. So whether you fire, you buy, you make, right? Even the kings, they did not have this privilege. Now the heating system, centralized heating system, is amazing, very cheap. If you think like this, it's all because of the innumerable number of people involved there. Because of this time, all these things are becoming cheap, right? These are the neutral people. Without them involved, you cannot enjoy these things. You cannot really live. You cannot possibly live in Europe in the winters, right? Okay, so and then how many of you use public transportation? Bus, train, metro. Even just recently, before coming to this, the Nico and the Capuchin took me into the train, right? Okay, in the train, just tell me, in the train, if the train compartment, metro compartment, right? If the whole metro is just empty, no one vacant, nobody is there, it's only just by you, would you feel safe? Huh? Hey, tell me, no experience. Huh? Do you feel safe? Anybody can come, rob you, or stab you, kill you, right? Okay. Then, when the metro is so many people, are you happy? No. You're not happy, right? But you think very carefully, right? When you're with many people, do you feel safe or not? Do you feel safe or not? When many people, don't worry, just keep your back, keep it carefully. Otherwise, nobody will, gag you. Nobody will stab you. No, these things will not happen until you fight yourself. Otherwise, this will not guaranteed it will not happen if you stay nicely. Right? Guaranteed, nobody will happen. Why not? Why not? Why not? In the presence of other people, nobody will dare to do that. Right? So these people, they are like your bodyguards. Do you understand it? When the whole train is empty, you feel so scared. Anybody can come, anybody can kill me, anybody can drop me, right? But even though it's very crowded, right? You're very confident, right? There's no fear. Okay, why this person is looking at me like this? Too much, right? So actually, you feel so happy because they are like your bodyguards. Who is giving you this sense of security? Who is giving you this sense of safety? Who? The people around you, right? Do you know these people? You don't know them. Those people who give you safety, they are known as the security guards. Do you know that? Many of the rich people, politicians, they take the security guards. Do you know them? Do you know this? That they keep the security guards? And they have to pay the security guards. When you're in the metro, you don't pay the security guards. Right? You don't pay. And the security guards, they're so nice. When you want privacy, they will let you go. Whereas the security guards of the politicians and the rich people, they will even come to the toilet. Yeah, it's very difficult for you. Whereas for us, when you want to go to wherever you want to go, you can go freely, right? And then the politicians, the big people, they have the security guards, they have to pay, they have to feed them. They have to feed them. Why you don't have to feed them? They will feed them by themselves. And yet, they do the same job of the security guard. You feel so secure in the presence of them. So if you think like this, okay, say, if you have to always travel in a very empty train or the metro, right? So much of fear every day. And then if you want to take a security guard, you have to pay a lot. You agree with me? Okay, now why you don't have to pay? Because of the presence of others. Do you know these people? You don't know them. These are the neutral people. If you think like this, it's so kind. You should be feeling so grateful. for these people, right? Okay, so this way we see that if you think like this, we see that all the benefit that we get, they're all because of the neutral people who we don't know, right? Okay, so now, before we go to the enemies, how the enemies are kind to us. Okay, one thing that we need to know is that, say say there are two persons, one who is physically so strong and the other who is physically so weak. Who can go into the crowd? Both. The weak one goes there, then weak one meaning weak and easily just hit and you feel the pain, right? In the crowd, who can go? Physically strong one can go. You're getting it? Why not the weak one? Because the weak one is easily affected by the crowd. Easily can, and then particularly if you have some what do you call it? The autoimmune system or autoimmune disorder problem where your immune system goes down. You can just contract illnesses very easily, right? You cannot go into the public or into the crowd. So there, say, if you are confident with the presence of the Buddha nature within yourself, Buddha nature, what is the Buddha nature? The seed of perfection. In actuality, the seed of perfection is within each one of us. This seed of perfection is so pure. It has three qualities: perfect love, perfect knowledge, and perfect power. These three qualities are there. Perfect power means you are not going to be affected by any other factors, right? Which means that you are very strong. You are perfectly strong. This Buddha nature inside us is perfectly strong. Okay. But you are not strong. How many of you are strong? How many of you are perfectly strong? No illness can come to you, right? Okay, we are prone to illness, we are prone to anger, we are prone to irritation, we are prone to agitation. Yes? If you don't have these problems, no need to practice Dharma. Don't forget it, right? In fact, one time, my teacher, Venerable Gyalmanpa, when I was just, I think, age 17 or 18, I went to meet him more formally, and then just about something about Buddhism, because I was just in the school. And then he said that if you don't have any suffering, you don't have to practice Dharma. It's beautiful, it's amazing. So this is where Buddhism, the teaching of the Buddha, makes sense. If you have no suffering, you don't have to practice Dharma. Right? Okay, likewise, say, okay, tell me, okay, say not necessarily each one of us, but say, give me one or two examples of fears in your life. The kind of fear that you have now. Any fear? Say, fear of getting sick, fear of, say anything, any fear. Anyone who likes to share with us? Nico?
Fear of being kicked out of the monastery.
Okay. Fear of being kicked out from the monastery. Why? Okay, anyone else? Any fear? Yes, Maria?
Fear of becoming very sick.
Oh, fear of becoming sick. Anyone else? Any fear? Huh? Any fear? Quick. Not okay. Anyone else? Yes, Mary?
Ouais, j'ai peur de ne pas bien comprendre tout ce que vous nous appelez.
I'm afraid not to understand very clearly what you teach to us.
Okay, the fear that I may not understand what he's saying. Okay, good. Anyone else? Anyone else? Very quick. Huh?
Of the future, which is too, say, uncertain.
Oh, uncertainty of the future. Very true. If you think very seriously, this is one of the greatest fears. Uncertainty of the future, what the future is going to be like. Very true. Anyone else? Yes. Oh, the fear of losing one's children, right? One's child or one's children. Yeah, it's a big, huge. So this reminds me of when I was very young. Maybe at 10 years old. I lost my mother, 5 years old. Then I only had my father. And my father, sometimes when he was in the daytime, he was just, leaning against the wall. And then he just started dozing off. Then so much of fear was there, fear of losing my father. I was just touching his chest to see if he's breathing. Right? Okay. So much of fear. And they say the fear of the unpredictability of the future. Right? Okay. So we have all sorts of fears. Okay. If you have this Buddha nature, actually you have this Buddha nature, you have this Buddha nature inside. So do you think that the fears that we have, like fear of losing your children, the fear of the unpredictability of the future, the fear of becoming sick, the fear of not knowing what is being taught. Anyone else? What did you say? Anyone else? The fear of getting kicked out from the monastery. Anyone else? Okay. Do you think that these fears are with the Buddha? Do you think the Buddha has these fears? No fears. Don't forget it. Buddha doesn't have these fears. Buddha is free from all these fears. Now imagine, Buddha is free of the fear because of his mind or because of his body? Because of his mind. His mind is so pure. This purity of the Buddha's mind, which makes him to be freed of all the fears. And our mind. Okay, tell me. Say, this is water which I took from the Seine River. This is water which I got from from the Mount Kailash. Right? This is from the Seine River. This is from Mount Kailash. Tell me. Say, this water, Seine River water. If I remove the Seine River water, is it drinkable directly? That is not drinkable. So you subject this to the reverse osmosis technology to purify the water. You subject this to reverse osmosis, ultrafiltration, right? And remove all the dirt. Remove all the dirt. Now, this Seine River water, is it drinkable? Yes. Now tell me, which is cleaner? Same. You getting it? So this clean water, from the Seine River, this clean water came from where? Came from outside? Or came from the Seine water itself, Seine River itself? From the Seine River itself. Which means the true nature, okay, tell me. So this, okay, first, the Seine River, directly the Seine River, right? Okay, so this, when you remove the dirt, when you remove the filth, the water becomes very clean. What we discussed earlier, the black charcoal. Black charcoal, you remove the the part, what happens to the charcoal? Charcoal disappears. Tell me, why the water removing the dirt, why the water did not disappear? Why the water did not disappear? Instead, water becomes very clean. Why? Virginia? No, don't apply the philosophy here. Just speak your the knowledge.
It's two different things, the dirt and the water.
Very good. But the dirty water, this is not two different things. It's one, right? No, you have to answer. Anyone else? I don't see Nico. Anyone else? Anyone else?
Because that went to the cold.
Huh?
Parce que la saleté de l'eau a été attirée par le charbon qui l'a fait.
But
Because the dirt of the water has been attracted by the charcoal.
No, charcoal is different and the water. I'm said that these are two different things. Right? Yes, Patrick?
Parce que le fait d'être sale n'est pas la nature de l'eau.
To be dirty is not the nature of water.
Very good. So the water, why when you remove the dirt, the water becomes very clean? It's because the purity is inside there. The purity is inside there. It is not visible because of the temporary dirt. When the dirt is removed, the purity comes out. Yes? Do you agree with me? Likewise, now tell me. The same water, river, the same river water, right? And this water. What's the difference between the true nature of the water and the true nature of these two? Which is cleaner? Same. You get true nature, same. Likewise, our mind. Buddha's mind is like this, clean water, and our mind is like this, the same river water. Right? But the true nature of the Buddha's mind and true nature of our mind is same. There's no difference. So the purity is inside us. So the metal dirts are temporary. Remove the metal dirts, the purity will come out. You getting it? So when you have this purity come out, then your mind becomes a Buddha's mind. When your mind becomes a Buddha's mind, all fears dissolve. You getting it? All fears the fear which Chen said, which is very serious. What is the fear which Chen said? Unpredictability of the future, which is a great fear. In fact, the sensible people, they are afraid of this one. Many sensible people, they are afraid of this one. Unpredictability of the future. You're getting it? So because of which, then they make plans. They make plans, strategies, strategies, plans so that the future is guaranteed. Not fully guaranteed still, This is how people make plans because they fear the future unpredictability. Okay. So with this, the point is that, this is very important. Buddha's mind, the true nature of the Buddha's mind, is it with you or not? True nature, the pure nature of the mind, is it with you or not? If that is with you, why don't you experience the fearlessness as the Buddhas feel? Yes, Virginia? Very good. Because this pure nature is not visible. It is covered by the mental defilements. You getting it? Okay, now Virginia said this. Okay, let us all repeat this. Why the Buddhahood inside, the purity inside is not visible? Because that is covered by the mental defilements. Don't forget it. This is extremely important statement, right? Okay, because this is covered by the mental defilements. Say, the gold, when you extract gold from the gold mine, what do you get? You get a gold mixed with the soil. You get gold mixed with the soil. Gold mixed with the soil, do you think that they will glow? They will not glow. This is very important. They will not glow. Ordinary people like us, we think that this is ordinary soil. But the gold experts will say that this is not ordinary soil, this is gold there. And how does he prove that there's gold there? How? By removing the dirt, removing the soil, right? Portion by portion, remove the soil. Then the gold inside will become more and more pure, then they will start to glow. You're getting it? Gold is there. Why it is not visible? Because it is mixed with the soil. Why the Buddhahood is not visible inside us, each one of us? Why the Buddhahood is not visible? Because that is mixed with the mental defilements. You're getting it? Okay, now the next question. What mental defilements? What mental defilements obscure this Buddha nature inside? What mental defilements? Okay, the morning we do the practice. Morning, setting the proper motivation, right? How many points?
3 points.
Okay, you noticed this morning, right? Okay, 3 points, very good. What's the third point? What's the third point? The purpose of the practice. Purpose of practice is what? To activate the Buddha nature. You're getting it? Yes, Virginia? To activate the Buddha nature, right? Why it is not activated now? Because that is obscured by the mental defilements. And what kind of mental defilements? Two. What two? The gross one and the subtle one. Gross one is known as afflictive obscurations. And gross one has how many kinds? 2, 4. Okay, Frizz got it correctly. 3. What are they? No Frizz. No Frizz. Anyone else? What are the 3? No, the gross one. Gross one is known as afflictive obscurations, and it has 3 kinds. What are they? Yes, Eric. Contaminant karmas, afflictive emotions, and active seeds. Very good. Thank you, Eric. You saved all of us. Otherwise, we're in problem. Okay, 3. Now, what we said is that all these 3, right? All these 3 revolve around the self-grasping ignorance. You're getting it? Self-grasping ignorance. 1. And look, okay, this is something important and very important, and you will understand it now. Then when you leave this place, you may forget it. It doesn't matter. I'll explain this now. When you leave this place or after the retreat, you may forget it. But if you listen to the recordings once more, it will become very clear. You getting it? This is very important. Okay. Okay. How many of you, I know that, okay, by the way, how many of you really don't like croissant? How many of you don't like croissant? 1, 2, okay, 2, 3. Strange. French, they don't like croissant. Okay, 3 don't like croissant. How many of you like croissant? Crazily you like croissant. You like croissant, right? One is Catherine, I know. Catherine, Frizz. Okay, raise your hands. Who like croissant? Okay. Okay, neutral. Okay, many neutral. Very good. I got the impression that the French, they're crazy after croissant. This impression I was given by Catherine. Right? Okay, now it's actually crazy. Catherine herself who loves it so much. Okay, now we see that there are 3 kinds of people, right, who are scared of croissant. Because croissant is, I think, it has a little bit of oil. Butter, because of which those people who have the cardio problem, have the cholesterol problem, right? They are afraid of the croissant, right? Like Catherine, they're so keen, crazy after croissant. And many of us who are neutral, there are 3 categories, right? Okay. Now imagine, this is very important. Don't forget it. This is very important. Say that we go to bed, and all of us will have a common dream. One common dream. The common dream is that your mother brings croissant. Your mother brings croissant on your birthday. This is a common dream, all of us. Okay. Right? Who raised your hands? Who said that I don't really like croissant? Who raised your hands? Patrick, Mary, and the Kecha. Right? 2 of you. So, okay. What did you dream? What dream are you having now? Dream of croissant. You're getting it? This is a common dream. Okay, this croissant, dream croissant, who created this? Who created this? Tell me. Huh? Your own mind created this. You're getting it? Your dream. Your own mind created this. And how before you go to bed, how many of you said that I'm going to dream croissant? How many said it? Nobody. But how this dream came? Not out of your choice. Not out of your choice. You agree with me? This is very important. Okay, this is where we need to take part in it. Not out of your choice. Not out of your choice, but the dream came. Right? And what is this dream? Is deceptive? Deceptive dream? Or is it the real croissant came into you? No, it's a deceptive. It's not a real croissant, but it appears as a real croissant. You're getting it? This is ignorance. Okay, now tell me. We are all having the same brain. How many of us we are having this ignorance? Ignorance seeing the real croissant. Dream croissant as a real croissant. How many of you have this ignorance? Huh? How many of you do not have this ignorance? We all have this ignorance. You're getting it? Now, self-grasping ignorance is the one which creates croissant for us. Alright? Now, how you react? How you react? Do we all react the same way or we act differently? We act differently. You're getting it? Okay, ignorance created the same thing, but we react differently. You're getting it? Okay, what kind of reactions happen? One is afraid. You run away from the croissant. Some, they're pulled by the croissant. Some, neutral. You agree with me? 3 different reactions happen. Tell me, why these 2 opposite reactions happen? One run away from this, the same croissant, one run away from this, one pulls towards the croissant. Why? Why? Tell me. Hey.
Subjective.
No,
tell me, just tell me. Huh?
Between the ring and neutral. Because of hate.
Because of?
Hate. H-E-T-E.
Hate. Okay, because you dislike it. And one likes it. Right? I dislike it. I like it. You getting it? Who like? She likes. He likes. Oh, I. Who? In the dream, you go towards the croissant because somebody likes it, or I like it. Because I like it. You're getting it? I like it. This is known as self-centered attitude. I don't like it. I don't like. Who don't like it? I don't like it. Self-centered attitude. You're getting it? Look, this is extremely important. Self-grasping ignorance created the same ignorance, created the same misperception, created the same deceptive perception, right? Then the self-centered attitude act differently. You're getting it? Some self-centered attitude will make you run away from the croissant. Some will make you run towards the croissant. Some will make you neutral. You're getting it? Okay, this is so important. In other words, what I'm saying is that how the emotions arise, negative emotions, attachment, anger, jealousy, all these negative emotions, how they arise is first self-grasping ignorance creates the wrong perception. Self-grasping ignorance creates the wrong perception, like the dream. Creates the dream, then in the dream, then the self-centered attitude plays on it. I want this, I don't want this, I want this, I don't want this. You're getting it? Okay, so in other words, how the attachment arises is first self-grasping ignorance creates the dream. Then self-centered attitude says, I want it. So these two come together, self-grasping ignorance, self-centered attitude come together, then it erupts into attachment. Likewise, self-grasping ignorance creates the nasty dream, and then self-centered attitude says, no, I don't want. Then it is aversion. Self-grasping ignorance, self-centered attitude come together, it will give rise to aversion. You're getting it? This is how the negative emotions arise. Attachment, anger, jealousy, fear, all the negative emotions, they arise because of these two things playing together. Self-centered, self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude together. Right? If self-centered attitude is not there, self-grasping ignorance there, it becomes just a neutral. I want it, I don't want it, this will not happen. Then the negative emotions cannot arise, such as attachment, anger, so forth cannot arise. If the self-grasping ignorance is not there, if it's just a self-centered attitude is there, again the negative emotions cannot arise because the dream is not created. You're getting it? So these two must come together in order to give rise to the negative emotions. This is very important concept. You're getting it? Okay. Now, fear. All kinds of fears. For example, fear of the unpredictability of the future, the fear of losing your children, the fear that I may not be able to learn what I should be learning, and so forth. All these fears, there should be two things. One is self-grasping ignorance should create the dream perception. Then self-centered attitude says, no, it should be very stable. I'm feared that I may lose the child, I may lose this, I may lose that, and so forth. Self-centered attitude comes with it. So these together then create all the fears. You getting it? Okay, tell me. The Buddha nature, the gold inside, why the gold is not glowing? Because of the dirt. Why the Buddha nature inside, why it is not glowing at the moment? Because of the mental defilements. What mental defilements? Self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. You're getting it? What mental defilements stop the Buddha nature to come out? What? This water from the river saying, why the purity does not come out? Because of the adventitious dirt. Adventitious dirt. When you remove the dirt, the purity comes out automatically. Likewise, when you remove the metal dirt, the Buddha nature inside will come out as a Buddhahood. You're getting it? Why the Buddha nature is not coming out as a Buddhahood now? Because? Virginia, because it is obscured by the mental defilements. This is extremely important. Tell me now, what mental defilements? Primarily, these two. Which two? Self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. When these two things come together, then all the other mental defilements arise. Attachment, anger, jealousy, and so forth. Then these will give rise to contaminated karmas. Then the miseries arise. You're getting it? Okay. So now tell me, how many of you find it so boring to eat 3 meals a day? Very boring. You have to cook, Very boring. Actually, it's so boring. And how many of you find it so boring to take bath every day? You have to waste so much of time, taking bath, eating food, and then other things also. Right? Okay, so it's so boring to waste all your time like this. And then for the food, you have to go shopping. And for the feel cold, I have to wear the dress, the clothes. In the summer, again, the thick clothes is not good. Thin ones. In the one, the thin one is not good. Thick ones. Very boring. Right? It's so boring. Okay. So the point is that why do we need to wear very warm clothes in the winter? Huh?
Because it's cold.
Because it's so cold. You said because it's cold. You do not say that my body is weak. You do not say that my body is so weak to not be able to bear the cold. You do not say this. Because the body is where it's cold. Right? Actually, Buddha nature, if it comes out, it does not require any warm clothes. It does not require any food. Food, why? Because you feel the hunger. You will never feel the hunger. Right? And say, if the Buddha nature comes out, the future is not unpredictable. Future cannot affect you. Right? If the Buddha nature comes out, you don't have to worry about your children and so forth. If the Buddha nature comes out, you don't have to worry that I may not learn what is being taught here. You know everything already. Right? So therefore, the Buddha nature, why? How come that all these fears are unnecessarily created? You have this Buddha nature inside, which when it comes out, all fears, there's no room for fears. Why then the fears are attracted? Who attracted the fears? Because of the self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. You're getting it? You're getting it? You understand it? Okay, now look, this Buddha nature, if it comes out, you have the, let's say a beggar who lives in a very simple hut, right? And tin roof with heat, excessive heat inside, cold, excessive cold inside. And underneath the ground, there's a treasure. Underneath the ground, there's a treasure. Right? As long as the beggar does not discover the treasure, he is a beggar. The moment he discovers the treasure, huge treasure, $10 billion worth treasure, $1 billion worth treasure, right? If he discovers that, he is no more a beggar. You agree with me? He can buy mansions, big mansions. He can get all these people, to work for him, right? But if he does not discover the treasure, he remains a beggar. The moment he discovered it, he is no more a beggar. Likewise, we are like this beggar. We have the treasure inside, yet the treasure is not discovered. If you discover this, we are no more a beggar. We are a Buddha. You getting it? It's so important. What makes us know? What makes this beggar not to discover the treasure? Tell me. What makes a beggar not to discover this treasure? Because of the earth. Because the earth was between the treasure and the beggar. Earth obstruct. What makes us not to discover the Buddha nature? Because of the mental dirts. What mental dirts? What mental dirts? Self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. You're getting it? So, if these two dirts are not there, then you don't have to worry about anything. No worries, no fears, nothing. And your happiness is infinite. What you want is happiness. You have infinite happiness. What you don't want is miseries. You have zero miseries. This is what your Buddha nature is, but we have not discovered it yet. Why we not discovered it? Because it's obscured by the mental defilements. What mental defilements? Self-grasping, ignorance, self-centered attitude. Okay, look. Now, because the treasure is hidden by the ground, the beggar, he remains very poor. Because he remains very poor, he has to think of two things. Say immediate hunger, immediate cold, one problem, immediate problems. And then his children, he has to think of giving education, long-term education, long-term problems and short-term problems. Both are there. You getting it? Okay, now, how many of you have discovered the Buddha nature? How many of you have discovered the treasure out? How many of you? Not yet, right? Okay, now, because we have not yet discovered the treasure out, so therefore we become like a beggar. Because we become like a beggar, we become so dependent on others. You getting it? Say, the moment in France, October, November, the cold comes? Cold. November, right? And then we cannot keep the doors like this. Right? We cannot keep the doors like this. We have to close the door, put on the heating system. Right? We are dependent on the heating system. Then when you go out, you put on a thick jacket. You become like an Eskimo. Right? You want to look nice, but then with the thick jacket, you don't look nice. Right? So therefore, you are dependent. So dependent. And then you become hungry, you have to go to eat something. Right? And you easily become sick, we will depend on the what? Medicines, doctors, hospitals, and so forth. Right? Okay. So we see that we are so, because of these two mental defilements, we become so weak. We become so weak. You understand it? We become. What do you mean by we become weak? Weak means we depend. We become so dependent. When we become so when we become sick, we depend on others. Right? We become so weak. Who made us so weak? Who made us so weak? Mental defilements. So the mental defilements, they make us so weak. In what way we are weak? In what way we are weak? Right? Okay, suddenly if there's a power cut, I don't know how the food is cooked here, with electricity or with gas? Huh? With gas. Okay, gas finishes, and electricity power cut, and then say the road, because of the earthquake, the road block, right? Then we are going to survive hunger. We are going to suffer hunger. You getting it? Okay. So we see that in others, what we are saying is that we become so weak. Weak meaning that we become so dependent on others. So we depend on what? We depend for immediate benefits, to remove hunger, to remove cold, to remove what? Heat and so forth. We depend on other factors for the immediate needs, and we depend on other factors for. Okay. What needs do you have? Tell me. What needs do you have? What kind of needs do you have? Food. Then? Shelter. Huh? Education. Security. Huh? Sleep. Long term? No long term, only short ones. Friends, people, only short needs, short term needs. Long term needs? Why are we here? Why are we here? Huh? For what? For holidays? No, there's another reason why. We have forgotten that need. Huh? To have peace. To have peace, you can go to Himalaya. You can go on the beach. It's a very peaceful. Peace in a different way, right? Spiritual peace. What? Gate. Paragate. Then Parasangate. Then Bodhiswaha. You're getting it? Okay. In other words, the need for Buddhahood. The need for Buddhahood. Right? The need for, what is the immediate need that you have? Immediate need? Food, clothing, and the water, and so forth. What is the long-term need? Long-term need? See, what would be that thing which would be the most important need? Final need? Buddhahood, right? Final need is the Buddhahood. Okay. So in short, what we see is that we become, because of the mental defilements, self-grasping, self-centered attitude, although we already have the Buddhahood inside, we already have the food. Food for what? To remove hunger. That no hunger is also within the Buddhahood, within the Buddha nature. No hunger. And why clothing? Cold, heat, right? Even no heat, no cold is also within the Buddha nature. Everything is there. But we become, because this is not visible, because of the self-grasping, self-centered attitude, they obscure this. Right? Now, because they obscure this, we become so dependent. Right? Dependent for what? Immediate needs and the long-term needs. You're getting it? Okay, this is so important. Immediate needs and the long-term needs. Okay. Immediate needs. What kind of immediate needs? Tell me, what kind of immediate needs very quickly? What kind of immediate needs? Water. Okay, water. Clean water or sin water? Sin water. Clean water. Okay, clean water. How many of you actually went to get the clean water from Mount Kailash? Nobody. But we get the clean water from. How we get the clean water from? Who made the water clean for us? The neutral people or your near and dear ones? Neutral people. You're getting it? So the immediate needs, they're all fulfilled by the neutral people. Don't forget it. Immediate needs are all fulfilled by the neutral people. The food, the clothing, the house, all these things are fulfilled by the neutral people. You're getting it? And then transportation, right? Transportation for example, in the Paris, right? In the Paris, if there's no red light, then the traffic jam will be there. Who made sure that we don't get trapped in the traffic jam? Was it traffic lights? Who made the traffic lights? You know those people? You know who designed the traffic lights? You don't know, right? These are neutral people. So we see that all the immediate needs are given to us by the neutral people, right? Okay. So who made us weak? Who made us weak? Who made us dependent on the immediate needs? Self-centered attitude. So this self-centered, now we become so dependent on the neutral people for the immediate needs. Yet the self-centered attitude pushes away all these neutral people away from you, right? So when you're in the metro, or when you're in the train, it's so crowded. These people. How I wish that it's less number of people here. We say this, right? Who's saying this? Self-centered attitude is saying this. Actually, it's because of these people that you feel the safety. You forget this. You take for granted. You just think of the luxury. Luxury to whom? Self-centered attitude. So this self-centered attitude is so vicious. First of all, it makes you so weak. It makes you so weak to depend on the immediate needs. And then immediate needs are provided by the neutral people, not by the self-centered attitude. Self-centered attitude does not provide you any of the immediate needs. Instead, it pushes away the immediate needs. Right? So self-centered attitude is so vicious. First of all, it made you so weak. It made you so weak and dependent on immediate needs. And the immediate needs, who provide the immediate needs? The neutral people. And the self-centered attitude pushes away the neutral people. Right? So therefore self-centered attitude is so vicious. It's so cunning, so vicious. It comes to the facade as though like it is helping us, as though like it is the facade of the guarding us. In actuality, it is actually destroying us. If you think like this, we should be feeling so angry towards the self-centered attitude. So we become so weak, and then we are made so dependent on the immediate needs. And immediate needs are provided by the neutral people. And neutral people's self-centered attitude pushes them away, right? So therefore, we see that it's the kindness of the neutral people that we get all the immediate needs. All the immediate needs are fulfilled by the neutral people. If you think like this, we should be feeling so grateful to the neutral beings. Okay, when you feel that the neutral beings are so kind to you in fulfilling your immediate needs, right? What happens? You feel that you're benefiting, you receive the benefit from the neutral beings. When you feel that you are receiving benefit from the neutral beings, what happens to your mind? What happens to your mind? When you feel that you are receiving the maximum benefit from the neutral beings, your mind flows towards the neutral beings. Your mind flows towards the neutral beings. Flows towards the neutral beings means your mind feels close to the neutral beings. This is how you feel so loving and so affectionate towards the neutral beings. This is so practical, the message. Extremely important practice. Okay, now you're feeling so affectionate towards the near and dear ones and also towards the neutral beings, right? Okay, now when you go out, when you see any neutral person, you'll be very happy. Right? Yes, no? Yes, right? Okay. Same. Okay. Okay, same. Now what is left? Enemies is left. This is the difficult part. You must be anticipating for that. What is there? How to see the enemies as? Enemies as? Enemies as somebody who's so loving. How to think of the kindness of the enemies. Okay, this is very important. Okay, let's say that what is your the long-term goal? Huh? Buddhahood, this long-term goal, right? Okay, who gives you the long-term goal? We have to think of that. Who gives us a long-term goal? Why do we have the long-term goal now? How many of you have the long-term goal now? We don't have. Why don't we have the long-term goal? Because of the self-centered attitude. You're getting it? Before long-term goal is inside us, which is obscured by the self-centered attitude. You're getting it? Okay. Do you agree with me? As long as the self-centered attitude is there, long-term Buddhahood is not possible. You agree with me? Good. If you agree with me, okay, how many of you go for annual medical checkup? Raise your hands. How many of you go for annual medical checkup? Okay, tell me, why do you go for annual medical checkup? Do you have some problem? Do you go to hospital annual medical checkup because you have some problem and you go there? Huh? Hey, for those people who go there, why do you go there? Huh? Prevention. What do you mean by prevention? Anyone? Very quick. Okay, to see if I have any disease, right? I don't know. I feel myself as healthy, but I don't know. There could be something wrong inside. So you don't know. Who knows the best? Medical doctors know the best, right? So you go there, medical doctors, and see if I have a problem, right? And then you pay. Is it free or you have to pay? You have to pay. Please take this money and see if I have some problem. This is how you go, right? Okay, what is the worst problem? Physical problem or the mental problem? Mental problem is worse, right? Okay, now say you finish your Bodhicitta retreat on 8th, and now in 8th, 9th you go back. 8th you go back, right? And the 9th, okay, then say your husband, your wife, your children, right? Suddenly says that, listen, you start shouting. What's the point of you going to take the Bodhicitta retreat? What Bodhicitta? What's this, right? What a stupid thing you have done. You have wasted the whole 9 days, the whole 7 days. Then what will you do? How dare you say like this? How dare you say like this? Okay, look, you become so angry. You're getting it? You become so angry. You become so angry to that person. And particularly if it is some stranger or your neighbor saying that, what's the point of you going to Bodhicitta retreat? You are still the same short-tempered person, right? You become so angry. This is not a business, right? This is not your business. Right? You become so angry. Okay, now look. Just imagine this scenario. Your neighbor or the other person who provokes anger in you, that person is actually telling you that, look, you are still very weak. You are still mentally so weak. You still have the mental defilements. You are still sick. You still have the mental sickness. Right? How can you become Buddha? You have still the mental problem there. Right? So, the medical doctors, they help you to identify the physical problems. And your enemies help you to identify your mental problems. Without identifying your illness, right, you cannot remove them. Without identifying mental problems, without identifying the physical problem, you cannot think of removing the problems. Right? And without identifying the mental problems, you cannot remove the mental problems. Without removing the mental problems, you cannot achieve your long-term goal, Buddhahood. Right? So for the Buddhahood, to achieve Buddhahood, you have to remove the mental problems. To remove the mental problems, you must identify your mental problems. Right? And, okay, let's say that, you come from Bodhicitta retreat, right? you get back home and your mother says, oh, you become so nice, you become calmer, you become softer, you become more kind. Earlier you used to be so short-tempered, now you are more kind, right? Oh, amazing. Amazing. Where did you do the Bodhicitta retreat? Oh, Kalachakra Center, right? Okay. Oh, it's a nice place. Yes. Okay. So your mother will never provoke you. Your mother will never identify your problem inside. Right? Your mother will only talk nicely about you. And who helps you identify your mother problem? Right? Your mother will say that, oh, you are great. Now you have bodhicitta. Now you have wisdom emptiness. Wow, it's amazing. Next time when it happens, please take me also there. Right? And you feel so happy. Okay, yes, I have bodhicitta. Right? Right? And then suddenly your neighbor comes. How dare that you have the water, all this garbage thrown next to my door. How dare you do it? I did not do it. You do it. Right? And then your anger comes out. No bodhicitta. Right? So, still you have the mental illness there. Mental illness is still there. So, who helps you to identify the mental illness? Your enemies. Wow, I still have the mental illness. I have to still work further. I have to attend the next Bodhicitta retreat. Right? I still have this problem. I still have this mental illness. Okay, thank you so much for identifying me. For the medical doctors, you have to pay money. If you don't pay money, they will not do it for free. But this, your neighbor did it for free. You do not have to pay money. Right? He does it for free for you. And which is more difficult, to identify your physical problem or mental problem? Identify mental problem is more difficult, and he helps you, yet it's for free. Right? It's for free. Only when identify that you have only when identify the mental problems, then you can think of applying the bodhicitta more, applying the practice more, and then you see that the mental defilement become weaker. As the mental defilements become weaker, what happens? You go through gate, paragate, right? Oh, Shile, every day, gate. We say like this. Actually, gate is happening or not happening? Very difficult. But when we meet with the enemy, then they will tell you that you are still not following gate. Although you are saying gate, but you are not going gate. Right? Then he will identify, there's a problem there. You remove this problem. Then you remove this problem, think about it, you remove this problem, then the actual gate happens. You agree with me? So therefore, actual gate happens only when the mental defilements are removed. How do you remove the mental defilements? You have to identify the mental defilements. Who helps you identify the mental defilements? Your enemies. So, without identifying the mental defilements, it is impossible to achieve your long-term goal, Buddhahood. Right? Which is the greatest of the benefit? Achieving Buddhahood or getting $1 billion for you? Achieving Buddhahood is far greater goal. Right? And who gives you this? Only your enemies. Right? No one else. The mother cannot give you Buddhahood. Your enemies can give you Buddhahood. So your enemies are the most kind to you in giving you what is most difficult to achieve, Buddhahood. Right? Okay, so say that, okay, how many of you know Muhammad Ali? Muhammad Ali, how many of you know that? You raise your hands. How many of you don't know Muhammad Ali? You don't know? Oh, strange. Ali, no?
No, I don't know.
You know? Okay, now tell me, who is Muhammad Ali? Huh? Boxer. Don't just say boxer. Legendary boxer. Don't just say boxer. Oh, he's human being. Don't say like this. He's a legendary boxer. Say it again. Who is Muhammad Ali? Legendary boxer. Don't forget it. Okay. Right? Okay. Tell me, Muhammad Ali, How he became a legendary boxer, not just boxer. How he became a legendary boxer. How did he become a legendary boxer? Because of so much of training. So much of training. You agree with me? Okay, imagine if his coach, if his mother was his coach, do you think that he will become a legendary boxer? He will never become a legendary boxer. Mother will never punch him, right? Mother will always punch him like this, very soft. Like this, he will never learn how to stop the punches. Right? Only when a very harsh coach punches him hard, then it's so painful. Then he will learn how to stop the punches. Then he becomes a legendary boxer. You're getting it? Mother can never make the child a legendary boxer. Only somebody who's harsh, difficult person can make him a legendary boxer. You getting it? Who is a greater boxer? Legendary boxer or ordinary boxer? Legendary boxer is much better. And who makes the legendary boxer? A difficult person, not the mother. Don't forget it. So the only difficult person can give you what is the noblest, which is Buddhahood. And who is more kind? Somebody who gives you the Buddhahood or who gives you food? Who is more kind? Tell me who gives you the Buddhahood. That is more kind. So, mother gives you food, right? Mother will never give you Buddhahood. Mother will give you food, right? Mother will never give you Buddhahood. Mother will give you food, clothing, talk to you nicely. When you cry, mother will say console, right? Mother will in fact boost your self-centered attitude. Mother will never remove your self-centered attitude, right? It is only your enemies who help you to identify the subtle self-centered attitude, very subtle self-centered attitude. Enemies will help you identify these. So, enemies are the one who actually gives you the Buddhahood. Nobody else can give you Buddhahood. Without Buddhahood, you will continue to suffer. Right? Without Buddhahood, you will continue to suffer. The moment you get the Buddhahood, your suffering stops. So who made you to stop your suffering, always suffering, and who made you the maximum happiness? Enemies. So therefore the enemies are the ones who are the most kind to you. You're getting it? Okay. This is known as the reflection. And then if you actually practice it, the more you see the self-centered attitude is actually stopping me from, having the infinite happiness, is stopping me from the not having fears, right? Then you become so angry towards the self-centered attitude. The more you feel angry towards self-centered attitude, the one who helps you to get rid of self-centered attitude, you feel so grateful to that enemies. So, the more you go into this practice, the more you feel grateful to the enemies. Now, if you're successful in this, now tell me, who in this world is... Okay, so now you see that these enemies, they give me the maximum Buddhahood, maximum happiness, which is the Buddhahood, right? Okay, now do you realize that enemies give you the maximum benefit? Yes. If once you know that enemies give you the maximum, the most noble benefit to you, what happens to your mind? What happens to your mind? Your mind will flow towards the enemies. Your mind flowing towards the enemies, meaning the mind becomes close towards the enemies. That is your mind will feel the tremendous affection towards the enemies. Now, when your mind flows towards the enemies, you feel affectionate. When you feel affectionate, they are no more your enemies. Now, no more enemies now. Everyone is your near and dear ones. You're getting it? It's as though the whole world is filled with your mothers and fathers. Can you imagine a situation which is happier than the time when you're surrounded by everyone who is like your mothers and fathers? This is the greatest moment of your life. This is the happiest moment. At this practice, when this practice is successful, you will feel that whole world is filled with people who are so kind to you. Your mind flows towards everyone. Right? You have no enemies left now. This is so precious, so precious. You're getting it? This is something we have to actually practice it. You practice it, and you will slowly reach a point where your mind will actually flow towards everyone. Near and dear ones, neutral beings, and enemies. Okay. This is step number 7. Very good. Okay. Now we will have, another, till 5:15. till 5:15 we'll have tea break, half an hour tea break. Then we'll come back for question answers. Right? Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasangati Bodhisvatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasangati Bodhisvatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasangati Bodhisvatyata. Okay, 3 prostrations.